Hello my fellow Battlefielders, welcome back to the channel. Battlefield 2042 has been out for a little over a year now, and I wanted to make a little 2042 year 1 update video for some time now, and talk about the things that have happened, the things that are going to happen, and the overall state of the game. As we all know, Battlefield 2042's launch was, well, disastrous, with a majority of the community shunning 2042 and ranking it one of the worst game launches in the franchise history, if not the worst. Before 2042 was even launched, EA and the DICE management team lied to the community, claiming that they were months ahead of schedule and that the terrible beta that was played was an older version of the game. And after launch, 2042's player count dropped significantly over the next few weeks due to the state of the game. Both EA and DICE's developers pretty much ghosted the community, with most of DICE's developers going on their mandatory holiday breaks, which is understandable. It seemed like there was no communication about what was going to happen with 2042. Any communication we had was very lackluster. Most fans expected it to be tossed to the side and forgotten about. Others speculate that in order for EA to avoid a lawsuit, they would push out 4 seasons of garbage content just to avoid said lawsuit. Season 1 was obviously delayed until midsummer, which I did agree with. They wanted to fix some things with the game, throw out some updates, which, in my opinion, it's more important to have a playable game over content. I love content in a game, but what's the point? You can have all the content in the world. If a game's not playable, you can't do anything with said content. But when Season 1 did arrive, we had a new map, which I personally loved. A new specialist, which I'm not going to dive into the whole specialist mess, because 1, everybody knows about it, and 2, it's fixing to be fixed. And obviously, we are in Season 2. It's fixing to end. Season 3 starts tomorrow. And the updates that have followed since the seasons have launched have been an improvement of the game, let's say. I mean, we've gotten map reworks, we're getting specialist reworks, we're getting the class system that should have been in the game but wasn't. And even when we asked about that, DICE and EA stood their ground, saying specialists are the way that we're going. And so we've got a couple new specialists. Got Liz Crawford, now we're getting Fahid Rain or Zane, or I can't remember his name. And I think honestly 2042 is heading in the right direction, and I'm sure a lot of people are kind of happy about that, but I'm sure there's people who are annoyed that wish they would just kill off the game and start on the next one. But it's just hard for me to just say go away 2042, bring on the next one, because we've had games that have failed before. You've had Battlefield 4, which launched roughly, it turned around. You had Battlefield 5, which launched poorly. It turned around. Unfortunately, its life was killed to push out this mess of a game when it launched. And now we're coming up on Season 3. There's lots of improvements. There's a lot to be excited for. And I really do hope that they go in the right direction. And even if this game lasts 4 seasons, even though we were promised more content after Season 4, because we have no idea, all we know is that it's coming. But let's say they do 5 seasons, 6 seasons of the game, and they're like, we're going to move on to the next Battlefield. I honestly think that the next Battlefield has to be a hit. And when I say hit, I mean no bugs, no broken launch, no ghosting your community, ignoring your community. And even when they came back, some DICE developers took to Twitter and attacked the community, saying that our expectations were too high, which I personally thought was ridiculous. Because how are you going to release a state of a game that this is that terrible to your consumers, and when your consumers complain that they don't like the product you make, you're going to attack your consumers? It's like, that's how you drive people away. That's what happens when the next Battlefield comes out. People don't want to pre-order it. You could throw the most lucrative pre-order bonuses out there, but people probably won't pre-order the next Battlefield. And it sucks, because you want your favorite games to do good. And I honestly think what happened with the Battlefield franchise, I think it went out of its element. And I've talked about this with people before, and they've always asked me, well, what do you mean? I was like, what I mean about it going out of its element is I'm not talking about it's all-out warfare. We had that amazing trailer that launched with the game, and we were like, oh my god, this is going to be like the Battlefield that we've always wanted. But I think what happened was it stopped being about the consumer and it started being more about the money. So what happened is they figured, hey, we can release a broken game. We can release a very underprovided game and throw it out there to the community because we know they'll buy it. Our pre-order numbers are through the roof. We reeled them in. Our marketing team got them. Sorry about the word mispronunciation. Not feeling really well when I'm making this video. But anyway, now let me jump back onto the out of the element thing is what I was talking about. Is that I think EA's and DICE's marketing team reeled us in with an amazing trailer, got us all to bite on this pre-order thing, and they were too worried either one about the money, or two, EA is still for some reason trying to compete with Call of Duty when it comes to Battlefield. Two different games. In my opinion, Call of Duty is starting to try to become like Battlefield with, you know, their new game mode Invasion and Ground War, adding vehicles and aircraft that you can fly and stuff. It is what it is. You know, let them be them and you be what you are. Be the Battlefield that we want. Go back to the roots of it. The all-out warfare. The tanks, the planes. There's no game out there like Battlefield. At all. I'm not talking about like having a mass array of vehicles. You know, I'm not talking about Arma kind of battle. I'm talking about like there's no game out there where it's fast-paced vehicle warfare action. You can have two tanks fighting each other on this side of the map. You can have helicopters and jets fighting each other in the sky, transports, jeeps flying around, you know, going like crazy. And then on the other side of the map, you could be having your infantry fighting over a key point on the map. There's no game like that on the market. And if there is, it's either too small or it's too in depth, I guess you can say. But Battlefield is kind of like a one-of-a-kind thing, and I feel like EA has screwed with it, unfortunately. And they really need to just sit back, listen to the community, go on Reddit, go on Twitter. Yes, I know those places can be toxic, but listen to the community. Take polls, take surveys, right? You know, and I know they push it out, but they don't push it out to everybody who plays Battlefield, because if they did, trust me, I'm sure a lot of things would be different. But listen to what the majority of the community want, and then go that route. Say, okay, the community doesn't like specialists. The community doesn't like this. I mean, look at the maps we got with launch. They were terrible. There was, you know, there's supposed to be this worldwide war going on, and the maps looked pristine. It's like they had a cleaning crew come up after every single match and clean it up. And I'm not saying have persistent map damage, because that would probably destroy everybody's console and PC to keep up with that, but have it to where you listen to your community. You know, they listened about the maps, right? And every map so far, I think minus Hourglass and a few others, Breakpoint, Manifest, have not got a rework. Well, Breakpoint, Manifest are coming in Season 3, I think, at some point. Hourglass, I don't know if that's happening, if it will happen, or when it's coming. I'm sure it will. But they're fixing the maps. The maps that have been reworked, Renewal, Orbital, you know, they're just amazing. It's great. They look like what they should be for the state of the storyline that is Battlefield. They didn't, you know, the community didn't like the specialists. They semi-listened to the community with that by, you know, but they put their foot down saying, all right, we're going to compromise. We'll bring back the class systems, but we're not getting rid of specialists. Okay, cool. I feel like if you would have did the whole class system with the specialist, I feel like it would have gone a little bit easier. But that's what happens. The next Battlefield game, because there's already rumors that they've been working on the new one. It's supposed to be campaign driven, stuff like that. Listen to your community. Do not look at what other developers for other companies are doing with their games. Don't look at the dollar signs, because I'm telling you, as a huge Battlefield fan, someone who's played every single one of them since the dawn of Battlefield, I'm telling you, if you listen to this community is more vocal than any other gaming community out there that I know of. And a lot of them are very vocal. But you listen to this community, you won't have to worry about whether or not the game sells. Because if you spend the money and you make this game what it needs to be, and I'm telling you, the 2042 trailer versus what 2042 was is not the same thing. I'm telling you, 2042 now is more like the 2042 trailer that we saw last year during the summer. But this 2042 that we're playing now should have been the 2040. I would have taken the launch of this 2042 that we're playing now versus the one we got. Even though there's still some things that need to be fixed and reworked and redone for this one, this 2042 a year later is in a way better state. And I disagree with that a lot. And I know a lot of people do. There's no reason why you should release a game and then spend a year to fix it. It should be fixed and launched perfectly. But listen to the community. If you listen, you'll have a game like Bad Company, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 2, you know, 2142. You'll have games like that that'll sell and make you the money if that's what you're looking for. But that's not what you should be looking for. You should be looking for satisfaction. Your game, when released, should be getting 10 out of 10. And I know I ranted on a lot and I didn't want this video to be this long, but that is honestly my opinion. And it seems like 2042 is going in a positive direction. Like every previous Battlefield that has launched broken, 4, 5, to just give some examples. But seriously, if this game goes this way and then pushing forward, they look at the franchise and say, listen, how many more times can we do this to the community before the community says enough? And I honestly think that if another Battlefield is launched in the current state, I think that would be it for the franchise. I thought this was going to be it for the franchise, but it somehow magically pulled through. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'm sorry about the rant. I wanted to get this out before Season 3 launches tomorrow. Please let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the upcoming Season 3, what you think of the state of Battlefield 2042, if whether or not you think that DICE and EA are going to release another broken Battlefield sometime in the future, and do you think the Battlefield franchise can continue as long as DICE and EA listen to the community. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I will see you guys in the next one, and take care.